Hey folks, good afternoon. Mike Loeb is here, Horizontal Zone, coming to you in conjunction with Wyvern Creations on a bow review on the Excalibur Rev X. Newest bow from Excalibur for 2024. And yes, this camo is different. This is a special package from Wyvern Creations. I'm going to go over the package with you, and I'm going to go over the features of the bow a little bit to help you get a better understanding of what you're doing. It's been an interesting bow year this year. You know, there's a huge recall going on out there. There's another company struggling getting their newest that's out there, but Excalibur's been getting these out, and they've been having a hard time keeping up because they're selling that well. But again, like you can see, obviously, this is a little different package. Let's go over that real quick. Talking about this, again, this is an exclusive from Wyvern Creations. You can only get this from him. So the bow itself, as you can see, is the Rev X, but it's in Kryptek altitude. And I hope you can see the detail of the camo. For you guys that remember, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, they came out with a 360 takedown in this camo. The first time we saw it, David got a special run of these for sale. Just so it's a little different versus the mossy oak. This is a lot more, it's got a lot more green, it's got some gray, it's got some black in it. When you look into some of the limbs, it's got a little bit of brown in it. Really does well. You know, here I am in Virginia in the end of April. You can see how green everything is behind me. Well, that's what this would look like early season. And you know, talk a little bit about camo. They say the best thing to do as far as camo is imitate nature. Well, we've all sat in a tree. You know, here comes that deer, and if he stops or she and it doesn't move, it's hard to see. Or if you've ever, you know, walked up on a snake in the spring when you're turkey hunting, you know, those scales, they kind of blend right in. And this camo's got some of that in there with the scales. Looks really good with the black rail and the black, you know, the riser and everything. So it really blends well. Excalibur did a nice job with the dip. The bow looks great. A little bit about the bow and David's package. First thing you'll notice on top of it, the bow is going to come with a Hawk XB30 Pro versus their Overwatch scope. It's also going to come with a set of Hawk high rings. Now, what you're going to ask, why would I need high rings? You can see what this cheek piece, where your cheek weld is, it's a little higher than normal. So when you put it up, without the highs, you'd be peeking down here trying to see into the scope. So that works out well for that. Also with the bow, also with David's package, you get a dozen zombie slayers versus the Pro Flights. A little bit about the zombie slayers, a little bit stiffer. With a 100 grain tip is what I have in here now. They weigh roughly 405 grains. Let me set the bow down a minute, go through the rest. It also has a set of slick tricks, standards. These are 100 grain. It comes with your bow press, your stringing aid. Fantastic. This is, you know, compared to the compound world, this is all you need to change your string, or if you ever had to swap out limbs or something, you can do everything at home with this. Wyvern throws in an extra string, so you've got the string that comes with it, plus the string, an extra string. You've got some Venom lube for the rail. You don't need to do much other than that. Bows don't require a lot of maintenance. So that's a little bit about this bow. And as you can see, camo really looks good. Bow also comes with a suppression package, which has the stars on the string stars. It's got the limb dampeners. The stirrup is wrapped. The holder, the arrow holder is wrapped. And something different for this year, and I know you guys have struggled with this in the past, this is called an exact fit. And I've had these on here for a while. I don't know if you can see them. So it's interesting when you get them and you flip it over and you look at the back, it's got different patterns on there. And you just cut the pattern out for the bow. Like for this one, it said Rev X, and it was in red. So I trimmed it up. The key to this is, first of all, you have to take the alcohol wipe that comes with it, wipe it down. And then when you take the backing off and you've got to put it where it's about an 1/8 inch, maybe to 1/4 of an inch off of the limb tip, and let it sit overnight. I let mine sit for about 24 hours, and I've shot these quite a bit, and they're still on there. The biggest thing about the old style was a couple shots, they just flew right off. Well, these aren't flying off. These are great. So Excalibur did a nice job listening and actually fixing that if you want that on the bow. But that talks a little bit about that. Also with the bow, they included the Rebolt quiver. This is a fantastic quiver setup. My favorite from Excalibur. It is a dovetail operation. So you can see that, how it works. All you do, now I'm a righty, so it goes on the right-hand side. Open the slot up, the dovetail or the lever, put it in there, close it, and it's done. It's on there. And you can tighten it up if it need to be a little bit tighter for when you close it. On the bottom is a screw, Allen screw. You can tighten that right up again. Slides right in there. Get to your stand, the end of the day, close the lever up, you're good to go. That's it, that baby ain't going. Comes with a nice rubber piece, inlay piece here, the back of the quiver. Also, on the quiver bracket, it's got a nice little rubber inlay here to help absorb some of that shock. So, again, nice job with Excalibur with this. Impressed with this bow. Okay, folks, a little bit more about the bow. Kind of went over the package. A little bit more about the bow. It's one bolt to attach the front end to the main frame. So you can see the bolt right there. It's got a little cylinder nut. I'm going to call it a cylinder nut because I don't know what else to call it. It goes right in there, and then you just center it on the rail or the frame, put the bolt in, tighten it down. It's not going anywhere. You can also see that they've really cleaned up the riser a lot. It's a lot much less material. There's really nothing to it like it used to be. You remember the risers used to be big, it had some cutouts. They've really skinnied them down, and it's really helped with the weight, and we'll go over that in a little bit about what the bow weighs when it's ready to go. So nice job with that. Quiver bracket, just 2 bolts to go right on. I'm a righty, so it goes on the right hand side. If you're a lefty, it goes over here. The Rebolt quiver goes on. The biggest thing for this bow is the new internal crank. This is a home run by Excalibur. This thing is super smooth, super easy to work. You can now decock it and let go because it now has that clutch and the brake system. So, you know, before, the older 400, the suppressor, or say even the Extreme, the Assassin Extreme, when you cocked it, when you were coming up, it would stop if you let go, but when you let it off and let it down, it would not stop. This remedies that. Now, the only negative for this is for you lefties, it's really only on the right-hand side, not on the left. So I guess if you're cocking, if you're a lefty, you just set it down like that, and now you can do it. The other thing is, why I've got the bow right here, the integrated crank handle holder goes right into the stock, and it's not coming out of there. So you can look, when it goes in, there's other bows out there that have this, but in the past they've struggled with them being too loose or too tight. This is in there. So to get it out, on the crank handle, there's a little lever right there. That's what locks it into both here and to the crank. To get it out, just push the lever, boom, comes right out. When you're done, you get to your stand or whatever, put it back in, just slides in. Just turn the handle where it goes up and down. All right, I'm on video, so it's not going to act right. Boom, in. Should have practiced that a little better. We'll do better next time, but that's it. In, out, done. Nice job by Excalibur. Also, this bow has a ceasefire trigger. A little bit different from the other ceasefires. This is a 2-stage. So, thing works, it's slick as new money, works great. The trigger, the safety is right here, just like the other trigger block. Pull it back for, say, forward to fire. So you can see the little red when it's back. You can see the green where you're good to go. This is a nice trigger. A little bit about this trigger, you're going to have to take my word for it, but I did shoot it right before I did this video. And this is just a cheap Wheeler trigger pull scale. I don't know if I can walk it over and it'll stay in frame. Let's see how it does. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's 3.2 pounds. That's it, 3.2. You can't, there's the 3 mark, the big mark there, so 3.2 pounds. Fantastic trigger and a great hunting trigger at that. Breaks nice and clean, does what it's supposed to. Also, obviously it's a different stock than what we're used to. And it's got a little bit of the front end that you saw. The foregrip is a little twin strikey from here. And then the back end is different. Obviously you can see that. It does have one thing, it's a little different on this. It's a little longer, you know, length of pull compared to, say, the other micros. But listen, I'm 5'9", 5'10" with the right shoes. Not the skinniest guy in the world, but his shoulder's pretty nice. I mean, it just sits right there. So that's pretty good. I'm not reaching, I'm not doing anything. My hand straight out is well past the trigger. Just put it back in here, pull the trigger, boom. Again, Excalibur did a nice job. One other thing about this bow, when you shoot this bow, I've always been a low pounder guy when it comes to Excaliburs, the 360s and below, just because they were a little bit more pleasant to shoot. Anybody that shot the 400s, you know, the suppressors or the assassins, they have more vibration and they were a little bit louder when you shot. Excalibur's clean that up with this bow. That is no longer there. When you shoot the bow and it goes and you shoot a crack, that's it. No vibration. If you remember the old Assassin Extreme, when you shot it, you would look through the scope and you could see the scope vibrate like that. Not this. They've done it without the struts, but they've thickened it up, the scope rail and everything else, and it just sits there. One other thing about dimension, this has got the Hawk XB30 Pro. For you guys that like the electronic scopes, that's why the stock is a little bit longer, because the eye relief has to be pushed out. Well, this way, instead of running the scope rail out to there, they just pushed it away a little bit. And you can see that just lines up perfect. With them high rings are perfect. So even if you don't use this scope, use the high rings. You're going to find out it's going to make life much more pleasant for you. So again, nice job, Excalibur. This is a fun bow to shoot, and we're going to go over a few more things as we go. I think that kind of covers the main part of the bow, I'm going to say, but let's talk about shooting it a little bit. Okay, cock of the Rev X. Got your crank handle in your hand, would have been in the stock. It's got, you release these tabs here, I'm going to call them ears, they look kind of like ears. So to release it, the trigger block, you just push that and it goes right down. Put it on, always take it to fire, or always take it to safety. With the, you've got, pull the safety back, insert the crank handle again. It's got that locking lever, so when you put it in there, it doesn't come out. Excalibur says 16 pounds of force to cock the bow. I've got no reason to doubt it. Look, you let go, no problem. Get halfway up, something catches your attention, stop. Gets a little bit, as it gets up, as you know, with Excalibur, all the work is in the limbs. It doesn't have cams or anything like that. The further up you get, and the power stroke, a little bit tighter it gets. You can feel that a little bit in the crank, still easy to crank. Okay, I hit, done. You can hear it, click, it's an audible click, you can't miss it. You want to back wind it 3 times. By back winding it, you're taking the pressure off of this trigger and putting it on the frame of the bow. So you want to back wind it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Pull your handle out. Put it in the bow. Good to go. All right, your hunt's over. Unfortunately, you didn't kill anything, or you didn't see anything you wanted to kill, or whatever like that. Pull the handle out. Those 3 revolutions that you took out, you want to put them back in. You want to take the pressure from the frame of the bow back to the trigger block. So you want to 3 times, you'll feel it. It'll get tight. Release it. Boom. Look at this. Go right down. Hear how quiet that is? Look at that. Let go. You can do whatever. Blah, 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 blah. You can leave it. Do what. Another one. Hey, we're done. All the way down. Okay. Okay, we made it all the way down. You can see the strap loosened up a little bit, which, by the way, strap this year versus that continuous rope, another upgrade. I'm going to pull it out. Just put that aside. Now here's one thing I like about what they've done. Okay, you've already let it down. So you can see, I'm trying to get this on film, you can see that cutout right there. Push the bow to fire. See that little lever back there? You just hit it, boom. Guess what? You're off your string. And then what I do is just take it and wind it back up. Slick job, works like a charm, works every time. Good job, Excalibur. I wanted to point something else out to you that I forgot to do. On the back of the stock, how to cock and decock the bow. So they even put it right there, that way you're not going to forget. So easy peasy, do it a few times, works just like new money, but you can't go wrong. Nice job again, Excalibur thought of everything. Okay, let's talk a little bit about nocks here. The new Excalibur ceasefire all work in conjunction with what they call the Rhino knock. The Rhino knock, again, is a flat knock. There's no reason to shoot anything else but a flat knock. As you can see, it's got a little groove there. And what happens is when you seat the arrow, there's a little detent ball. You can see it in front of your trigger, on the bottom of the trigger block. Got a little detent ball that goes right in there. And that holds that arrow in place just like a snap-on knock. So in other words, you know, back in your vertical days when you knocked the arrow, you snapped it on there, you know it didn't go anywhere. Well, this way, when it snaps on there, it's not coming out. So you don't have to use this, but I suggest you do, because the main thing is it will prevent that dry fire, or partial dry fire, I should say. But that locks right in there. But when you look at that, and then here's a lighted version, their beacon knock. This is a different arrow. These are Pro Flights. If you didn't get the Wyvern package, the bow is going to come with these Pro Flights. But you can see that groove is in the bushing, the aluminum bushing, and then the beacon knock presses into that. And there's a little black lever. I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't. See if I can get that closer where it stays in it. You see that little black lever there? When you shoot the bow, the string will push against that little piece of metal and it'll light that up. And then what you do is you just pull the black lever back and that extinguishes the lighted knock portion. But that is the Rhino knock with or without the beacon light. Newest from Excalibur. I think it works great. I've heard other guys or Redbird guys say, well, I'll just use a regular flat. Well, that's fine. But the main thing is to prevent that partial dry fire. This locks it back against the string, and I think it's worth doing it just for that little bit of peace of mind. One of the things that Excalibur's touted on this bow is the weight reduction. Well, let's see how they did. So I've loaded this bow up. It's got everything on there that you've used for going hunting. Got your scope, everything's on there. The quiver, 4 arrows, 400 grains apiece. I've got the crank handle in the stock. Let's see how they did. I don't know how well you'll see that on the video. I don't have any help, so I'm on my own here. All right. Okay, fully loaded. I don't know if you can see that or not. 9 pounds. Oh, just sly of 10 pounds fully loaded going to the woods. That's pretty good in my book, because the this XB30 is a fairly heavy scope. So I think it's going to make this thing a breeze getting in and out of the woods. Okay, folks, using the stringing aid to make adjustments to the string or actually remove the string. So basically what this does, it acts as the string. As you can see, the string holds the limbs. What you're trying to do is just take the pressure off the limbs by basically compressing the limbs. So what you do is just put it on one end, run it under the strap. You can see it, so it's under the strap behind the trigger block. Put the other one on the limb. You can adjust either side. I'll just use this side because I'm here. You want to get it as tight as you can. Tight, tight, tight. Now you're not a mechanical advantage, so you do the best you can. You get that tight. You work as tight as you can. And remember, these ropes will stretch a little bit because there are some poundage on it. So at this point, take your crank handle, put it in there, and just slowly crank. You just take your time, slowly crank it up. You don't want to do anything crazy. You can see as the string is compressing, and see, you can see that. Now remember, we got that clutch so we can let go. Just take your time. I always do it real slow. I don't want anything crazy to happen. And then at that point, all you're going to do is pull the string through, and it comes off. So you can do that to either A, adjust the string if you want to get it, if it stretches and goes into the string stops, you want it off the string stops. 1/4 of an inch works pretty good. So that's all you do, is you're going to take the loop off. And then when you do it, so if you were going to adjust the string to tighten it, I always go counterclockwise, like that. And then that kind of tightens the string. You hook it back on, and you can see the groove. Groove goes right there. Just put that loop right on that groove, and make sure you got it in there. Pull it through, pull it tight, because the last thing you want to do is let it down and it fly off or something like that. So it's in there, it's nice and tight. Both sides are good. Check both sides. Remember, we got that clutch, so it stops. Slowly let it down. Slowly let it down. You can see that, and the pressure goes right back on the string. Easy peasy. Just take it down. At that point, now that it's down, again, you haven't locked it on the string. Just loosen this up. It'll just come back through. You can loosen either side. You can see right there. That's all you do. Loosen it up. Push that end through. And boom, you're off. That's it. No more $400 or $500 press. You can take this to the field. You can take it anywhere you want. So think about if you were going on a backwoods hunt somewhere. You take an extra string with you should you have a problem. Boom, you're back in. How long did that take me? 2 minutes, 3 minutes? That's all it takes. Stringing aid. No more bow press.